evening, David. How are you? Oh, you look
Yeah.
so cute.
Do you like that?
I
They're
like that.
Halloweeny.
Yeah,
Halloween,
so
buddy.
we've got Minnie Mouse and the
Yeah.
perverted Monopoly man.
How you
So
doing, man?
I'm doing very well, although I don't have my glasses on with this monocle, so I have no idea what you're doing. You could make faces at me, and I would never know because
Okay.
I'm blind.
We
So
got Bowtie here as a barfly. Good to
yes,
see him again.
I'm
And,
putting
and
I'm
Tig.
putting my I'm putting
Good.
my glasses back on.
All righty.
There we go. Well, happy Halloween, everybody in the lounge.
Uh-oh.
Rich
Hey,
is here,
Rich. Good to see you, buddy. As always. Yeah.
and so happy Halloween. I hope everybody had a safe, or so far is having a safe Halloween. We don't get kids where we're at, and I guess you don't either, right?
No. Yeah, it's all hills here, and the kids are too lazy these days. So,
Yeah.
can't blame it. What would you, if you were going to give away something other than candy, what would you give away?
Money.
Like what, $1?
The quarters, dollars. We always
Really?
we had a lady in our neighborhood that would give us quarters. Happy Hello, Pantea. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween,
Oh,
Jaro.
Pontea. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's filling up.
So as
So
so, what are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking Cane Daytona, which I believe is an offshoot of Oliva, right?
It is. It is. And no, we're not living in a 55 plus community. We live out in the sticks, and we have a rolling security gate, kind of that looks like a haunted house, and then we've got 400 feet of driveway that goes through a mesquite forest. So kids would,
Wow.
even if they wanted to, they. I always told my wife, I said, "Hey, we could turn this into one heck of a haunted house, or a
Yeah.
haunted property," but we never get anybody. Never.
Is your gate one of those cool ones with like the talkie box out front?
Yep.
Oh man, I always wanted one of those.
No. Well, it doesn't have a talkie box. It has a punch code. But we did have a thing where you pressed a button and it rang a doorbell, kind of.
Well, what happens when like the delivery guy comes?
Well, he finds out how good he is at passing.
They just toss it over the.
No, they just put it to the side usually.
Oh, I see. You have like a what about the rain and stuff? You have like a covered box there?
No, but we've never had it. Come on, it's Arizona. We don't get
Oh,
rain.
that one day of rain, you just hopefully you don't
Yeah.
have a delivery.
So what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Freud Cargis port wine casks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I have one. I think I have one of those. No, I have the sherry cask.
Sherry, yeah.
I am smoking a Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder,
Yeah.
which is a nice thick.
Is that a chocolatey one?
Yes, very much so.
Mm.
And then for the libation, I am drinking Glenmorangie, Tale of the Forest.
Oh, there you go. Well, I haven't had that for a while. I had it when it first came out, and that's stuck back in the cupboard. You know, every now and again, I get out the little step stool and have like reshuffle stuff.
Hello, Stephen. Happy Halloween to you as
Hello.
well. All Hallows Eve. Sam, I've never understood. I know people say Sam Hain. I don't understand any of that.
I don't know. There's a lot of history behind this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't have a topic today, and then
Topics? We don't need no stinking topics.
Yeah, drinking poison. That's right. You know what? I don't know if I told you my trick last week with putting in the cigar butts in the fire pit. You know, most of this scotch is high enough proof. You could do the cool trick where you have like some in your mouth and just spit it out, and you get a cool like blue green flame.
So okay, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I thought Pantea was going to do the rolly eye thing.
Oh, no, it's not true. What's that? What's the movie? Blazing. Is it Blazing Saddle? My dad loves that.
Well, Blazing Saddles, they don't throw anything in the fire. They are
No. We don't need no stinking badges.
Oh, it's from there's 2 movies. It's from I think the Sierra Madre, something from the Sierra Madre.
Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Right, and then the second time they did it was in Blazing Saddles.
Is it? Yeah. When I grew up, when I was growing up, I already done grewed up. My dad used to just throw out that quote from time to time, and that's I've never seen. I got a litany of movies that I guess are like the like scenes from or one liners from and all that stuff that I've never seen, and I always think one weekend should sit there and I guess it's a third one.
Yeah.
Don't need no
I
stinking
think it's one of
patches.
those. It's actually like this. You've got that, and then you have this that is in a multitude of different movies.
Yeah.
If you watch movies, they're all over that. But well, the nice thing about those old westerns, though, is that it's amazing. Growing up here, you can actually see where they filmed them. Here,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. So Tig Lily says favorite movie lines. Wow, that's huge. I would say plethora from Three Amigos.
Oh,
Effie,
really?
I'm not quite as smart as you.
I saw that once. I don't remember that.
You can't handle the truth, of course. I
Oh, yeah.
feel the need for speed. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. One ping only.
One
Han
ping only,
Solo.
Vasily.
Well, and Yippee Ki all the
MF.
typical. They're all. I can't think of any oddball ones. As you
Oh, of course.
as you wish. But I was gonna say, there's all sorts of movies that I feel like I should have seen that I haven't, like
Well,
Scarface.
really?
Right? That
You've
should
never
be.
seen
Never
Scarface?
seen Scarface. I've never seen
Oh, there. Well,
Godfather.
there's a line. Say hello to my
My
little
See,
friend.
I know the line, but I don't know, man. Like
I knew Rich was going to come out with this one.
see, same thing. I've never seen that movie.
Um,
But the kind of the lower production values and the lower quality, just low res picture and stuff. It's hard for me to. In fact, well,
whoa,
it's weird
whoa,
that
whoa, whoa! We got to stop the show. You have never seen The Godfather?
now I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that she and I sat down to watch it once and maybe got like halfway through.
There's 4 movies now.
Well, so I got an eighth of the way through.
Yeah, but that movie is like classic.
I know, but see, that's my and every time I think of this,
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
see, I don't get into it. So I think, okay, this weekend I'll watch this. I'm like, well, I don't want to like waste 2 hours of my weekend. So I think that's my retirement plan, right? Is to start watching all of these um, things, but I don't know. Yeah, we
Oh,
should make a list
well,
where
you
you like
better.
force yourself to watch
Well,
this.
if that's one of your retirement plans, then make sure you get a leather couch because Pentea is not going to let you get Cheeto dust on any of the furniture while you're watching the movies.
Cheeto dust. Do I look
Yeah.
like a Cheeto guy?
Well, maybe.
Okay, so there's one. Please do not shoot the nuclear weapons. So what so you've seen a ton. So I was going to ask, do you have movies that you should have seen but you haven't?
Not really. I am a movie fanatic. In
Star
fact,
Trek.
oh yeah, all of them. Raiders of the Lost Ark, all of them. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes from Raiders of the Lost
Oh,
Ark?
yeah. No Cheetos. Cool Ranch Doritos, buddy.
Well,
Cool.
okay, but still, that has a residue that
Right.
you will. If you're watching movies, you're going to wipe it on the couch.
You know what's tough? That was one of my things is when Call of Duty, the new games came out, that would be the ultimate weekend is playing Call of Duty with a bag of Doritos next to you. But you always had that, you had a little cutscene where you could eat like one or two, but then you quick clean your fingers off before you got them all over your.
Okay, so here's what we can do while we're talking: is the barflies can throw out a movie line. If I know it, I won't say anything, but I'll ask you. Like, here's one right now. Where do you keep the nuclear vessels?
Well, I said
Vessels.
that's Star Trek. I
Right.
watched that
Okay.
one, right where they were saving the whales.
Mhm.
That was a good one. Oh, but because what Spock had a one liner there where he like tried to Double Dumbass to You, right? Something like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and of course,
Goonies.
the most famous line he has, fascinating,
But well, that's in every show, isn't it?
pretty much.
Yeah.
What's it?
But so I was gonna say, Dave said it's my responsibility to come up with topics for today. I told, see, we're 16 minutes in and we haven't even. We're good. We just
good.
ramble, dude. That's all right. But the first one I thought about talking about is everyday carry, EDC stuff.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you recall, but I had posted a video on my own channel, I think, where I had like done a lot of research and decided to revamp my everyday carry and all of it. Can you hear those dogs? I think those
Yes,
are
I
the
did.
hounds of Baskerville.
Okay, wait. The Bumpus's Hounds from Christmas Story.
Oh, see, I don't remember
The
that.
You haven't seen Christmas Story?
I saw
either?
Christmas Story once. I wouldn't remember anything from it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have, and always shall be your friend. You know which that one's from? I mean, that's the truth, but it's also from a movie.
Always shall be your friend. No, I want to say like it sounds like a Toy Story thing. I know it's not Toy Story.
Star Trek, when Kirk died.
Oh, really?
Yes. Or when Spock died, actually.
Oh. Emotional. I must have blocked that out. Sounds too sad. So anyway, everyday carry, right? I part of the problem for guys, you maybe not for you, but like in the winter time when we had, well, maybe not for in Arizona, but you got coats, you got pockets all over the place. You can carry all this stuff, right? But once you don't have a coat on, you just have pockets and you can only carry so much stuff. So I was trying to figure out, what do I want to carry? And I always thought, guys post those videos of their everyday carry, right? They got the knives that do all sorts of stuff and the cool flashlights and the pens and this and that. And then so I'm like, well, I want to be cool like that. And so I ended up getting like a small pack to carry around that had like a multi-tool and a flashlight and
But is it a valet?
Well, he carries it when he's working, but he doesn't work 24/7, Dave. But I find what I actually realistically carry every day is just that thin little, I don't have it with me. You do have the same thing, the thin little wallet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a few cards and some cash.
Right.
A car key, and the key to my car. That's it. Three things in my pocket. What do you carry every day?
What about pens?
No.
You don't carry any pens?
Nope.
I carry that wallet, my keys, a knife, and if it's the weekends, I carry a 9mm concealed carry.
See that? Pistol. What kind of knife? Just like a little pocket knife?
No, it's a tactical, fast opening knife.
Now, how often do you use that?
Every day.
Really? Mm-hmm. Outside the house?
Yeah.
All right.
Every day. To open a box or to pry something open,
Yeah. See, that's the thing that I realized. Like, the flashlight, I got this cool little high-powered flashlight, right? You got a flashlight on your phone. You don't need a little flashlight. And whenever I open boxes, it's either at work where I've got a pair of scissors or at home where I keep a knife out on the table for opening boxes. But these guys that carry that, I was curious, like these guys that post like all of this stuff. Well, I guess the phone, right? The phone's always in the pocket.
Yeah.
I was always curious. Is this like just like for them to show off, like, look at all my stuff, or do they really carry around tons of stuff in their pockets all the time?
Well, I think it depends. I think a lot of it depends on what type of work you're in. If you're in a construction job or something like that, I think, yeah, guys will carry a lot of different stuff on them. If you're going to an office, you may carry it from your house to your car into your office and then take it all out and put it on your desk.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's about it. I don't, because here, especially if you're wearing shorts 90% of the time, there's no point. I mean, I always usually carry a knife with me, and I'm a knife fanatic, so that's another thing that I collect. And so it depends on, the type of knife, and most of the time it's just a really small knife that I can throw in my pocket just in case,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had use for that stuff because it's cool. Like I would like to be into knives and things, but like I said, when I carry one around, I would never take it out of my pocket. And, yeah,
Well, but the thing is, I guess what it is it's nice to know that you have it if you need it.
I suppose I feel that way about chapstick.
Yeah, see, and I know a lot of people carry chapstick. I have never carried chapstick for two reasons. One, if I put it in my pocket, it's going to be chap liquid
Soup.
before the end of the day.
I would. So that shocks me because in Arizona, I would think you guys would be like needing that constantly.
I don't. I mean, I don't. But
all right. So some of these comments I'm not posting on the screen,
right,
because I
they're
don't know
firearm
about
related, right?
YouTube rules and don't want to get kicked. But luckily, we're all on the same channel now, so you can see what each other carries around. All right.
Yeah,
So
that's the one thing that bothers me when people, and whether it be on a cigar forum or on a shaving forum, which we do not allow on our forum, but the postings of weaponry. I just I don't like it. I don't think that it's not appropriate in my opinion. I mean, the whole idea behind concealed carry is so you don't know, so nobody knows, and
Yeah.
a lot of people will post that, and I just.
I just stick my finger in my shirt, like they do in the movies.
Pew 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 pew.
All right. Well, that conversation didn't last very long, so I got another one for you.
Okay.
No, this one should last longer because it's multifaceted, right? So I said I'd look up some conversation things. So the question I found was, "What's the worst job you ever had?" But that can lead to some of the weird or short-term jobs you had, back in the day. So let's start with, what's the worst job you ever had?
Working at Skaggs. Skaggs was Skaggs became, eventually it became CVS. So it was a retail, like a drugstore. It was boring because if you weren't at the register checking people out, you were stocking shelves. I hated it. Hated it. Never worked fast food, other than in the bowling alley, because most of my jobs were in the bowling alley, and I worked all positions in the bowling alley, which was fun. But the snack bars kind of sucked.
This sounds like it sucks. Hot, humid weather, working outside. Yeah, sorry about that, Bowtie. And then this one, very odoriferous, cleaning cages at the veterinary office. I don't, so that reminds me of a story. This is not the one I was going to say, but there was this flower shop that I worked at just for a year in college, right? And the owner wasn't the nicest guy in the world. And it was a very, very slow flower shop. So there's only so much to do. But he was one of those guys, right, that like, if I'm paying you, you better be doing something.
Right.
And it's like, what, did you drop your cigar?
No, I dropped the band. Usually bands have to heat up and slip off. This one just fell off.
I was waiting for a fire to start.
No.
But so once everything was vacuumed and everything was dusted and there was enough stuff in the case, it was like, what else is there to do? You can only do so much, right? But because this was his attitude, he would drive this white van that was part of the, labeled with the shop or whatever. I think it was white, but he would park right in front of the store when he pulled up. And if I sat in the back where I couldn't be seen through the windows, in the reflection of a print or something like that, I could see out the front of the store. So I could see when he pulled up, right? And so I would sit back there because there was nothing else to do, watching for his van to pull up. But it got to be where it's almost like PTSD, like when I would see the van, right? I would like get all so for a while after that, whenever I saw like a white van, it would stress me out because it would remind me of this guy that I had to jump up and pretend like I was doing something when he pulled up. We won't go into too much detail about this, but again, that's another odoriferous type of a job there. But the I was trying to the original one I was gonna say wasn't terrible in just a bad way, but one summer I picked blueberries and it was fine, right? You sit on a bucket and you're picking blueberries off of a bush, and I'm there with a bunch of like seasonal workers, but I could kind of keep up pace and made decent amount of money. So the next summer I went out to do it again. But what I didn't realize was the first summer it was towards the end of the season. And so most every berry on the bushes was ready to come off. When you go at the beginning of the season, some are ready and some aren't. So you get a cluster of berries and you got to pick one off and look inside to see if they're ripened or not. And I was so, you got the seasonal workers that are just working their butts off and whizzing down the aisles, and I couldn't make no money whatsoever. I kept getting in trouble for picking non-ripe berries, and they'd toss my bucket out and all this stuff. I don't think I lasted at that one very long. I realized that one.
Well, no, I have a
Oh,
I have a question for that. So when you were picking those berries and they were ripe, I would assume that if you do that all day, your fingers turn blue. And does
I
that
don't
stain?
recall that. I don't
Oh,
recall that they did. I did learn though that the moldy, mushy ones get separated out to make yogurt out of. If you're interested in that knowledge, the good.
well, it makes me realize why I don't like yogurt.
Or so what else? What other kind of
Well, I mean,
jobs you do?
one of my favorite jobs was working in a shoe store
Yeah.
because I was in high school, and what was cool about that is they wanted you to dress up. So you're, 16 years old, you're wearing a three-piece suit, and the malls, as you remember back in the day, the malls were where everybody hung out. So it was like a very target-rich environment
Yeah.
because you're in a suit and tie. You may only be 16, but man, it, it was like picking blueberries.
All right, I got it.
But it was good money though too. I mean,
I was gonna
we
say,
got
did you get commission?
yeah, we got a base hourly rate, which I think at that time was like $4.90 or something like that. Plus, we got
Uh-huh.
commission on all the shoes we sold. And if we met our goals, then now this was before Al Bundy, but you got if you hit your goals, you got bonuses, and then the manager would always be doing okay in the next hour if you sell this, this, and this. But the big money was in the what they call the upfronts. So if a lady came in and wanted a nice pair of shoes, you went and grabbed the shoes, a couple of different styles and a couple of different sizes, that are hers. But then you would find a matching purse, and you would find some other
Oh,
accessory and just set it. You wouldn't even sell it. You would just set it next to the shoes. And if she found the one she liked, she looked at it and said, "Oh, wow, that person." And then, of course, yes, ma'am, it goes really well. Now, with all that goodness and making all that money, there was a negative side.
hmm.
Again, summertime in Arizona.
Oh,
So,
then some
needless
wet
to say,
feet, huh?
yeah, and unfortunately, there would be some ladies that would come in and they saw a shoe on TV, or they would come up and say, "I would like a size 7 in this," when you knew they were a size 14 and it wasn't going to fit them. But
Uh,
that's where it became a lot like Al Bundy, but we could never say what Al Bundy said. So that was a fun job. And then probably the funnest job I had when I was young was probably in the bowling alley. It was a blast. Working in the
yeah.
bowling alley was a blast. All the Coca-Cola you could drink, food was free. You could bowl anytime you wanted to. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I worked the front desk, and it was fun.
Yeah, so I had an interesting one in college too. Is with the window washing crew on campus. I can't remember if they did it every summer, but at least in the summer they would go through the entire campus and wash all of the windows inside and out,
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
And I got the job as the supervisor for this crew. And so as you get like the master keys to the entire campus, you have to go into people's offices and things like that. But a couple of things I remember is that you'd have those big long poles where they would, run water up them and wash them, but they would only go up so high. So if the building was tall enough that it went above the reach of those, we had these little stands that you go inside the office, and it's I swear it was 1/4 inch plywood. It wasn't much, with some rickety little metal fencing around it that was maybe yay high, maybe 2 feet tall. I don't know what that was supposed to do. But you put that out the window, and the only thing that held it in the window was this metal pipe inside that when you stood on it, it pulled against the frame of the window, right? And so people were supposed to, you'd have this belt and you'd have a rope that you're supposed to rope yourself off somewhere uh, in the room. I'm scared to death of heights and stuff like that, right? But I remember when they're showing us how to use this thing, they said, okay, who wants to try it? And I thought, well, if I'm going to be the supervisor of these people and ask them to do it, I got to volunteer and do the same thing I'm asking them to do, right? So I did it, but I tell you how much I was shaking trying to stand up on that thing, because like I said, the it was 2 feet of maybe protection around you. Anyway, I did that. I hated it, but
Well, can you imagine those people that clean the outside of windows in like New York City and San Francisco that are
no,
up on the scaffolding? No, 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 no,
no,
no,
that's
no.
not. And moving around in the wind and
Yeah.
like, and the crazy thing is I would go around to check on the crew and sometimes they'd be roped off to like a chair. And I'd be like, what? If you fall, this chair's going to go through the window with you. Oh, so anyway,
That reminds me that two other jobs that I have that were fun is I drove a semi, which was okay, but the funnest of the driving jobs I had was driving a tour bus in the summer from May until usually late October, early November. And my favorite trip was called the AZ. So we picked up the people, in the tour guide in Vegas. Would go from Vegas to the Grand Canyon, spend a night, Grand Canyon to Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon, Salt Lake City for 2 nights, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Yellowstone, and then Devil's Tower, and then Denver, and then come back the other way. And not only were your office was basically the U.S. and going into national parks, and then you also got tipped $5 per day per person. So if we had 48 people and it was a 2-week trip, you were rolling in the cash. It was great.
wow.
It was a lot of fun.
All right. So if you had to do it over again, or you just had your choice, what job that you haven't had would you like to do?
Fighter pilot.
Oh, that's
I
a
mean,
good one.
even though I spent, I was in the Air Force, it was under a different, and I did fly, but I wasn't a pilot. But yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would have foregone girlfriends and hot rods and had good grades and hopefully have
Yeah.
gone to the academy and fly fighters. Because I realize at my age now, looking at where everybody's at, there's a good chance I'd be a general. So
Well, plus that's bad. I mean, I realize there's tons of different planes, but you don't always realize that some of those fighter jets, it's like aren't your knees almost like at the top of the cockpit and everything else is glass,
yeah.
right? Like pretty
Well,
like
the F
next to
six.
you,
Well,
above
yeah.
you,
For
like a
instance,
bubble.
the F-16, you sit back at a 45-degree angle, and your knees are up, and literally from the top of your knees, so down is all one big glass canopy, and then of course you've got
Yeah.
all your heads-up display stuff in front of you. Yeah, it would be awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like flying like that, where you're just like out there, right?
Well,
It's like the
and
difference
now,
between a car and a motorcycle, where you're
well,
just
yeah, and
out. Yeah.
nowadays, kids that are coming out of high school and stuff like that, especially with the Air Force, you've got the Space Force now. I mean, two, three,
Um,
four
they
generations from
gotta
now,
change the name of that, man.
huh?
They gotta change the name of that. Sounds like they're signing up for some sci-fi movie, the Space Force.
Well, that if you look at the Space Force uniforms,
Oh yeah, that's
that's
crazy.
kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the Battlestar Galactica type of thing.
It's a little embarrassing. Well, now I was gonna say, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fly in the next shuttle or something? That can't be as cool as a fighter pilot.
Yeah, but think about it. What would it? I mean, just think about. I mean, we're going to get a chance probably to do this. Maybe is to be a space tourist, to go up, look down on the Earth. That would be amazing. That would be incredible.
That would be incredible. Except I'd probably
Don't you dare say it's flat. Don't you dare. Don't you dare say
We're
it.
gonna find out.
Well, but see, the thing is, if the Earth was flat, a cat would have knocked something off of it already.
Yeah. All right. So you know what, with a job I always think about sounds super cool. It's probably miserable, but a deep sea welder. One
Hmm.
of those one of those guys that does that pressure whatever. They live down there for 2 weeks or whatever.
Oh, kind of like what's his name in the Abyss?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why, because being, I think we talked about this one, thinking about like being in the ocean, all this open water, and thinking about what's down there kind of freaks me out. And you're down there and it's dark and all you can see is what your light headlamp lights up. So that seems scary as
Well, yeah, because
yeah,
you're
thinking,
welding
but
something, you turn around and there's a big eyeball in your face.
yeah. But I don't know why. This seems like a super cool job.
They make good money,
Yeah.
tremendously good money. Honestly, right now, if I had to do it all over again, I would be doing what I'm doing in my retirement job, being a barber. I love it.
Oh,
I love it. I
I
absolutely love
know.
it.
I know. What else?
Okay. What is the worst job you can think of? The
I could
absolute
think
100%
of?
worst job. Yeah, that you would never do no matter what.
Well, anybody that works in a sewer, right? I mean, there's like septic tank people, or you can watch. I mean, it's not as I know that there's people that have to work in the pipes and stuff. There's people that have to clean out the clogs and they're spraying water down in there. Stuff starts spraying out all over the place. And anything where you could accidentally get hit with fecal stuff, I guess,
Poo.
kind of like
Well, like on
Bowtie and his GI
what,
nursing.
what's that show? Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, Bowtie mentioned outdoor labor in Florida. Anything where you're physically miserable like that? That sounds I'm trying to think of what would be more miserable than heat and humidity. I guess there's those people that work in like smelting factories and stuff like that too, right? Where you're getting like odors of, burning whatever plus the heat and humidity, and
Well, I bet you after a while they become nose blind to that.
it could be, well, like just like the flower shop. After I worked there, I walk in, the smell would hit for a minute, and then I didn't smell anything, and people come in saying how amazing it smells and all that. I'm like, all right.
Well, I
What
know
about this?
one person in here that has not posted very much tonight. Tig Lily, I know that person would love to be an archaeologist or a geologist.
That's it would be exciting when you have a cool find, right? But you got to spend tedious hours, I'm sure, and often not finding anything.
Right. But when it really comes down to it, if you're in a job that you absolutely excitedly get up every morning and are excited to go to work, then you've made it. Then you've made it. No matter what that job may be.
Yeah.
Because, I know there was this lady that worked at a Taco Bell that we used to go to. And I'll tell you what, she was not a manager. She just worked there. She was a little bit older. But I have never seen somebody so dedicated to her job, and she loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
So,
well, somebody like that probably would be happy in many, many jobs, right? She probably wasn't thrilled that she was working in Taco Bell. She's just a happy person.
yeah, that's true.
So what about Jaro? Yeah, a gravedigger.
A train engineer.
Just a backhoe.
A train engineer.
Doo-doo.
I just heard a train go by.
I know. I thought about though. I like watching the guys that go through the snow in the trains and stuff like that. Although I have seen a show about what it takes to be a train engineer, and I didn't know this, but it's really crappy work when you first get into it because you're like on call and you're waiting to be called up for a job and have to respond, and then you never know how long you're going to be gone.
Right.
So in terms of scheduling, I guess probably like a pilot, right? Where you start with a really crappy schedule and then. So, but what do you? Two people have mentioned crematory workers. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it would be. The only what I think of is it's not a crematorium, but I think of the morgue worker. I think his name was. I can't remember what his name was, but he was in Gone in 60 Seconds, where it just didn't bother him. He just In fact, there was one scene where he had to take a phone call, and he had a bologna sandwich, and he was doing an autopsy, and he put the bologna sandwich on the top of
Yeah,
it. So,
I
but
remember.
no,
Well,
I don't know, working in a crematorium based on my faith beliefs, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that.
all right. Well, that's different than the worst job you can think of, though, because see, I don't think that would be too bad. Because I mean, I'm curious if they're thinking it's the smell would be bad or just the thought of it or something like that. You know, kind of
No.
working medical. You know, you do a lot of stuff that maybe a lot of people would not enjoy or whatever, but they're in a box when they go in there,
Well,
right? And they're
yeah, that's
cleaning
true.
stuff out and
PB brought up a real good one. A detective, when he looks at this ring. Now, believe it or not, PB, this ring that they used called the Team Ring is actually a true Special Forces ring that was used far before that series came out, and that's why I wear it, because it was our insignia for our team in the military. But yeah, being a private detective, but I've got a
well,
buddy of
you
mine
got
who's
a
a private.
helicopter. I mean, come on.
Well, a buddy of mine that was a yes, it is the cross of Lorraine, um, Jaro. But the thing is, I've got a friend of mine who is a private detective, and what it is boredom upon boredom upon boredom, and what you're doing 90% of the time is you are taking pictures of people that are cheating on their spouses.
Well, and sitting in the car probably for hours waiting for that, right?
Yeah, no,
You're like an archaeological list without the dirt.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
this one sounds terrible. Gathering the dead chickens at the egg farm. Yeah,
Ooh, ooh,
that'd be
yeah.
bad.
That would not be a
Not to
fun one.
mention an egg farm must be rank.
Ugh. Yeah, we had 6 chickens and it was bad.
Yeah. We've
No.
got 3 mice. That's pretty bad too. All
But
right.
you think about the jobs that the kids of the next generation, the generation after that, are going to have. I mean, that's pretty cool. When you think about it. I mean, look at where AI is going. I mean, who
Oh,
knows?
okay. I was gonna be like, what, a dead chicken stuff? That's the problem is that people willing to do that kind of stuff are going away.
Well,
They're
the trades are going away. People that want to become plumbers, people that want to become, construction workers, electricians, and what
yeah.
people don't realize is plumbers and electricians, they make bank, they make
So
good money.
so here's something crazy, right? The hospital I work in is a very old building. We're constantly having problems with our elevators. So I was talking with one of the other directors about this issue because we don't have our own uh, fixer people for the elevators. You got to get certified, whatever, and they're hard to get, right? And I always thought, well, then people should be going into this because we're constantly begging them to come and fix our stuff and put us before other jobs. And how come there aren't more people out there and all this stuff? Here's what I found out that, especially at least in California, that to be an elevator technician, whatever they're called, first you have to get hired by the union and then you get trained. So you can't decide, I'm just going to elevator school and learn this trade.
Right.
You have to get on the books at the union, who only opens up their books every so many years
Hmm.
and then only hires so many people to keep demand for the people that are there. And then when we need to hire, when a company, Otis, needs a technician, they go to the union and hire them temporary, whatever, out of the union, that they
Right.
work for the union, not for Otis.
Right.
So that's crazy. We
Well,
need more of these
in the
folks.
Union States, you have that. You become a journeyman and stuff like that. But Stephen brings up a good point, which is good. The trades are coming back because of the cost of college. Kids can't afford to go to college anymore. And what they're realizing is, they can become a journeyman plumber, a journeyman electrician,
Yeah.
and make good money in a couple of years and not have, hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s of debt.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's good that that it's coming back.
Have you
Glass
done
blower.
glass blowing?
No, I've
Ever
always
done it?
wanted to though.
Me
I've always
too.
wanted to try. I'm always afraid I'm going to inhale though.
Well, shit. You probably only have to do that once.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
you
exactly.
don't. Because they always have those things where you sign up for like $125. You can go blow an ornament or something like that. That looks pretty cool, especially if you get good at it. That's an
Yeah.
impressive thing.
Well, what about you? You know, with your love of wine, now I know you've taken some classes and
Mm.
stuff and being a sommelier. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to just live in that world, or is it just
I don't know. I've seen, when you go up to Napa, and you go to a winery, a lot of the people that do the tastings, maybe less so now than before, seem like they're kind of middle aged and past, kind of like maybe it is like a retirement job and that kind of thing. And I kind of thought that might be fun, just kind of, I guess, like a host where you just get to talk wine about people that are excited about wine. I wouldn't mind doing that maybe just to be around it a lot. But other than that,
so?
no.
Are you saying that when you retire, that there's a chance that we may see you at a San Francisco Total Wine
Was that too loud?
or K&L?
No, no. At the winery, one winery where it's kind of chillax and people are sitting on the terrace, and that's more of it.
That would be kind of cool.
What is this? I would not want to be a bathroom attendant. I
Well,
suppose
but
that's true. You'd again an odoriferous. I think we have a theme. Things with
yes.
bad smells.
Well, especially you don't. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be a bathroom attendant at a Chili's on chili night, or anything like that. But I don't even, I don't even know if I know that maybe some of the big buildings in the big cities like San Francisco and New York have bathroom attendants because usually they were just there to give somebody some hair tonic, a comb, a towel, or whatever the
Yeah,
case may be.
I think I've only seen one in my life, and I can't remember where in the world it would have been. But I think it was, it was a restaurant somewhere, and it's not that they didn't even have. I think I remember he just pulled a paper towel from the paper towel holder and handed it to me, and I was like, "What in the world is this?" Yeah. Oh yeah. Here, Jaros,
Sphinx,
Sphinx.
that's it. That
That's
was
the
his
guy.
name. Yeah.
That's the guy. Yeah. All right. You ready? You ready for my second question? I think this will be good. We're at almost getting close to an hour.
Okay.
Winning the lottery. What are you doing?
Okay. Winning the lottery. What am I doing? Traveling. Traveling.
Well, that's not going to take 20 minutes to talk about if you had one word answer, Dave.
Well, I mean, I would want to just, okay, if I won the lottery, I'd want to help friends out, depending on, like, if it was like that big one that was a couple of $1 billion, I'd want to help friends. I'd want to pay off what bills are left, then travel, and then, of course, then comes the floofy stuff.
So
Like,
wait a minute. You told us that if you did it all over again, your job would be what you're doing now. Would you keep your shop
yeah, I just get somebody to hire to run it.
and then just stop by as a guest barber?
Yeah, I would just come by and collect the check, the check every so often. Where is the first place I would go? Give me a second, Dave. Keep talking. I want to think about Pentea's question for that because
Yeah, well, I'll answer PB's question. The answer is all of it.
that's
If you had $15 million or yeah, that that's interesting. I mean, I think obviously the same thing. It'd be buy a house and all that stuff. I don't think I would. I would like to think I wouldn't go nuts though, right? It wouldn't be a mansion. Probably, maybe I'd have a Bentley though. A
no.
Bentley is a daily driver.
And then
Yeah,
an in-home humidor, completely sealed off.
yeah. Well, it'd have to be if I was allowed to
That's true.
smoke in the
Well,
house.
that's a tough one because I was fortunate enough to travel when I was in the military, and also my parents traveled a lot. But I would probably say one place I would go if I won the lottery. Wow, that is a tough one. Probably the one I've never been to Fiji or Tahiti or Bali, somewhere like that probably.
Look at Jaro will keep working. That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's not crazy because I've thought about that too. It's like, would you quit? Like, well, you wouldn't quit.
No.
But that's the thought is, would I quit the next day or give the notice, or would it kind of be like, hey, I have a job where I'm helping folks and I don't need it anymore, and so maybe cutting back or consulting or something like
Well,
that.
I was reading somewhere where they say, if you do win the lottery and you win a lot of money, best thing to do is to ignore it for 6 months and really think about what you want to do, because you'd be surprised how quickly you can burn through stuff if you decide to go hog wild on cars and planes and all that other kind of stuff.
He's rich.
And still be retired.
He wins the lottery, he's going to stay retired.
Yeah, that brings up, Pantea brings up a good point. I don't know if I'd quit. I don't think I would, but I would really scale back even more and really spend time traveling. And the reason why I say that is because with where my shop is at, I see a lot of people that have more money than they know. I mean, millionaires,
Yeah.
but they've been waiting so long to give their money to their grandkids and all this other stuff that they get to the point where they can't physically travel anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that point. To me, I have an adage that says you want to go to heaven like sliding in on a motorcycle, totally out of everything, and saying, "Hey, what a ride that was!" Yeah.
Well,
And Tig Lily would buy a small island.
Well, in terms of work, though, my preference would be is to not work, but then volunteer or consult, right? To do, so same type of thing. I could maybe consult with nonprofits or work for nonprofits.
Charitable type work, sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so small island. What crazy purchase would you do?
Are you asking that of Tig Lily?
Well, hers is an island, which sounds pretty cool to me. I wouldn't mind an island.
Oh, you mean as far as like just a crazy, completely irresponsible purchase?
Right.
It would probably be the Ore 3-axis tourbillon watch.
A watch. All right.
Yes.
All right. You know what I would do? I would get a private jet, and that's how I would travel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the ultimate luxury, is that you're not going through TSA, you're not waiting. You just hop on your jet. We're going here, we're going there. But you bring up a good point. It really depends on, of course, we're just, talking whatever, but how much you win, right? Because 10 million, if you won 10 million and you live in California, yeah, you could buy a house, but if you live in like, LA or the Bay Area or San Francisco, whatever, you'd be hard pressed to just take that and retire,
Right.
You couldn't retire on 10 million, I don't think.
But actually, Tig Lily brought up a good point.
You go. This sounds good.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. You're just a little bit biased on that part of it. But this actually, you know what? This is what I would do. Tig Lily nailed it.
Yeah, that would be your crazy purchases. How much is that now? Like $250,000 to take a flight up there?
Well, we've had this conversation that if somebody came knocking on your door and said, "Hey, listen, we've got a plan. We think it's going to work, but you're going to go to Titan and you're going to set up a civilization. It's a one-way trip. Would you go?" And without hesitation, yes.
Because they need nice haircuts.
Well, that. But okay, let's say it's even further. They say, okay, we're going to go to this planet. It's 10 light years away, so we're going to put you to sleep, and you're going to wake up in 150 years, and you're going to start new. Would you do it?
No.
I would.
You know what? Because that sounds like a lot of work, Dave. I'll come visit. How about that? You get it all set up, and I'm gonna come visit. Here you go. 450. Because here's the thing right now, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I guess if you got all the money in the world, why not? But right now, the flights to space are like up, and you're there for 30 seconds, and you come back down.
Right.
That's not space. I want to
No.
orbit a little bit,
I
enough
want
to
to go.
really puke everything out, and then settle it down again, so then I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is cool. Jarl says he's been offered another job in his field. Congratulations, sir. Hope that
I
works
think
out
I know
for
what
you.
that. Jaro, I think you and I have talked about it. I think I know what that field is. I won't say it for privacy reasons, but I
So
think
do you play the lottery?
no.
Yeah, me neither. Which, you know, it's kind of funny because those people that win, you're like, well, shoot, I wish I was one of them. But one of my favorite sayings is the lottery is what is it? Lottery is something for people that can't do math. What the heck is it? I forgot what it is.
I mean, you know, when it gets like when it was what 450 billion or whatever it was, did we buy a few tickets? Sure.
I don't think it was like that. You know what's crazy? You talk about though. We've talked about this before with any hobby we're in, right? There's like the beginner level or whatever. So just like you did with your watch, right? People buy Timexes, whatever, and then you kind of get into the Rolexes and Omegas and things like that. But then there's like another level where stuff is like $1 million and all that. Like same thing with being rich. Like I said, just buying a private jet, but you just need to be a millionaire, several millions, to have a private jet and be able to use it. But like the really rich folks have like the yachts. Like you got to be uber rich to afford a yacht and the upkeep and the use of it and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's when you hire a crew. And the thing is, we've talked about this before. When you have that kind of money, the level of where you're thinking is I mean, buying a $25,000 to $30,000 watch is like going down to Kmart and buying a Timex. You know, because that's how much money you have, you know.
Oh, here you go. The odds of winning it are the same as if you don't play.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
Yeah, rounding to the nearest whatever.
You know, it's one of those things where you drop down $1 or $10 on the lottery, and you know the attitude is somebody's got to win it. Yeah. Somebody does. It just will never be me, I don't think.
Oh, chances are. Hey, do you gamble? When we were in Vegas, you didn't do any. You don't gamble at all.
No. I mean, I'll throw a couple bucks in a slot machine, and that's about it. Maybe play a little bit of blackjack, but no, I've never, you know, in my life, I feel that I've worked so hard for my money that I don't want to just give it to anybody. Now, the argument could be said, yeah, you've worked so hard for your money, but you go out and buy a bunch of watches or a bunch of cigars. I get it. But no. At least when I buy the cigar, I buy the watch, I have it. If I throw money at the gambling, they have it. So.
Yeah, well, I think the only way that makes sense to me is when you think you're paying for your entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I like to play roulette, so you figure if you're sitting there for half an hour, however much you lost is what it costs for you to be entertained playing this game for half an hour.
Isn't roulette got the worst odds of any game in Vegas? Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No.
Or is it craps? Something has the worst odds. I can't remember what it is, but
there are things with craps with almost even odds. So those are the two games I'll play, but this last time we were in Vegas, I played both, and craps, I didn't last very long at all. And I learned that it just stressed me out. There's so much going on, and the bets you can make with decent odds are just a few of them. And so you sit there not betting much, watching the roll, right, while everybody's playing all this crazy stuff that it's just, I don't know. I learned
what about roulette? You're picking a couple of numbers and you're basing it on that ball rolling around and falling in the right spot.
It's all the same thing, right? It's all a game of luck. Even though, well, I guess people will say like blackjack isn't luck, it's tech, but it's still right. The odds over a long period of time are in the casino's favor. So whatever you want to say.
Well, and plus with blackjack, you also have to be careful who you're playing with. So you did do good at roulette.
I did. I lost it all. So as you know, when we went to Vegas, we were meeting up with one of the cadre members and his wife. And so I sat at roulette while we were waiting. And I swear I hit on every spin of the wheel or whatever for, I don't know, maybe the whole time I sat there, which wasn't long, maybe 20 minutes or something. But the coolest thing, I've never had this happen before, and I didn't win a lot, but they ran out of my color chips because they kept giving me chips when I was winning.
Oh,
And so when they ran out of the chips, I said, okay, they were there by that time. And I said, we'll cash in. And I ended up blowing it all anyway later on. And
right. But here's a good point. So right here, PB puts it up. So the 225-foot feed ship 2012 DeVries Drizzle is for sale for $67 million.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, somebody will buy it and go sailing it off like it's no big deal.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Maybe they do. If you're Jeff Bezos, I think he owns several yachts.
Yeah.
But I follow a guy who's, I think, like a technician on a yacht, and he'll do tours of yachts and all this yacht knowledge and stuff. The technology on these things is insane.
Oh yeah.
The water falls into pools, and the highest resolution outdoor screens for their dance parties and all this stuff. And the ultimate is you've got a yacht, and then you've got a support ship that carries around all your water toys and stuff like that with you, so that's not all cluttering up your yacht. It's a different world, man.
Yeah, it's a world that I'll never know.
Yeah.
Unless I won the lottery, but that ain't gonna happen. So
would you buy a yacht though?
No, the doing what I did in the military, the ocean was a very big part of what we did. However, after I saw Jaws, the ocean changed for me. And I don't know. Yeah, it did. It's just, no. Because
really?
there is some. Well,
you don't like to be in the water?
No, I don't mind being in the water, but you're always thinking of what is in there that wants to eat your face off. Because we know more about outer space than we know about some of the depths of our own planet.
That's true.
I gotta say, they're down in the real deep, like the Marianas Trench and the San Juan Trench. There's got to be some critters down there that are huge.
Now, see, you asked me about on the last show, do I believe in Bigfoot? But I do believe in some of them monster, what are the squids and stuff like that?
The giant squid, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, there's tons of stuff. Every time they go down like super deep, they're finding weird stuff. And so, what does this mean? People, you're still poop. Can you translate that?
Still people PL basically in a water closet. I have no idea what that means.
Okay. Maybe I think he's done drinking for the night.
Lily will give us an explanation because I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. All right, man.
Unless what she's saying is basically when you're in the ocean, you're in one giant toilet.
Oh, let's dilute. It's all right. Let's dilute. You know what changed my... So you're saying Jaws changed your thinking with that? I keep thinking about this one thing that I went through that changed the way I thought about safety stuff. Is in Oregon, the coast is lava rock, right? All this black raggedy rock. And so when I was younger, I used to love just to run along that stuff, and it's pretty rough and up and down, and you jump from thing to thing to thing. And so I was in a basic EMT class, and we watched a whole slideshow for an hour about soft tissue injuries that can happen to your body. And you realize just how brittle our bodies can be. And after that, all I could think of is if I slipped and hit some of that rough, sharp rock, what would happen? And after that, no more of that.
Well, that's like these guys that go to Nazaré, Portugal, where the biggest waves in the world are. They average anywhere between 70 to 100 feet. But the reason why that wave is cresting like that is there is a coral reef and shallows there. If they eat it, they're going to just keep bouncing off that coral reef. No.
So I still can't. I still don't.
Oh, the snowmobile EMT film. Yeah, that I remember that in EMT training. That was nasty.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're off on a topic that probably a lot of people don't want to hear about.
Yeah. Well, let's take some final questions or comments from the barflies. Like, okay, here's something since it is Halloween night. What did you guys do for Halloween besides thankfully spending it with your favorite Daves?
I used to be afraid of Bigfoot and Earthquake. You know what was funny? Um, people, even you, like to tease me about living in earthquake land and right on a fault. And I kind of thought, who the hell would move here and stuff like that. I was on the phone with my parents just a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like somebody jumped on the deck. Right, it was kind of like a boom. And I was looking around like, who did that? And then it like kept shaking, and I'm like, hold on, earthquake. And then it's like, okay, it's over. And then you can just move on with your day, right? But then you get people that live like in Tornado Alley and stuff like that. To me, that's insane.
Well,
That
what's the largest earthquake you guys have been through there?
I can't remember. I was mentioning this because there's the one my wife was here when there's that one that was on TV, however, 30,
The
40
North,
years ago.
oh, the
Northridge, or
Northridge, yeah.
the
Freeways.
freeway crunched it, right? I wasn't here then, but when my daughter was very young, there's one that shook the house enough. I remember it lasted long enough. I ran down the hall and put my body over her crib at the time to protect her. I don't know. That had to have been a 5, probably. But
Oh, the Loma Prieta quake. That to me is just because the true feeling of helplessness, I guess. In any types of those, because with a tornado, if you're given enough time, it's going in a path. You might be able to get out of its way, but
maybe,
with an earthquake, you don't have that option.
but dude, you see houses, right? Just getting thrown around and stuff. I don't. I guess it's
Well,
all.
I've been in two hurricanes, one in Puerto Rico, and one in the Massachusetts area, and to me, that's probably the scariest of storms because that's just God's true power.
Yeah. Well, the difference is too is that those last. Like an earthquake, yes, okay, it can be devastating. Most of them aren't, and they're over in 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, right? And you move on. To make it through storms like that can be quite a long time.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that quake that you had was a 4.0, right? The one that the
Yeah.
epicenter was at the airport or
Yeah.
right around the airport. Yeah, that seems weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we did it. We started with no topics. We did all right. This is I was telling Dave we're kind of worried about like coming up with topics every time or a guest or whatever. But this is how we started our show. It was just like, Dave and I would just chat and realize we can just ramble on about stuff. And I said, that'll be all right. So some days our shows will just be this. And we got our barflies now.
Yeah, and you guys make sure that you come and sign up, tell your friends to, and if you have suggestions, email us, for topics and stuff like that. Dave's going to throw that across the screen here in a minute.
All right. Well,
and just know that we appreciate you guys we appreciate that you spent, because I know some of you probably have little rugrats and kiddos and stuff like that. But it seems to me that speaking of Halloween, talking to some of the parents and stuff like that, I guess the traditional trick or treating is really kind of backed off a lot. I think a lot of parents take their kids to parties, or like that car show that I was at this weekend. There was tons and tons and tons of kids that just came to that because I guess it's a safer space.
Yeah, they do a trunk or treat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here for the. So Jarl mentioned, yeah, I've done some coffee chats on my channel. The difference being, let me tell you, and you guys can make comments or email us. One of the things that Dave and I have talked about is we would like to talk about some serious topics, but we're a little hesitant about ostracizing people or making people upset, just the way that the environment is in our country today. So we'll see. We might do that, but we're a little wary about getting into too serious of a topic.
Well, and I think once we get to a larger audience and we have more subscribers, we could probably get away with a little bit more as far as that. And that would be an interesting week. The Dave and Dave Dr.
You're older, Dave, so you can explain to us how everything works.
My name is Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and we're going to talk all about the sex. Sex is okay. You can do it. You can have fun with yourself or with other parties.
There it is. There was.
And there you go. We're canceled.
We covered that topic. Oh my God. No, but especially if people are emailing in topics, and they are a little bit more serious. I think maybe if it comes from a barfly, we might try 100% this. Yeah, yes. 100% that.
Because there is so much out there right now. And the one thing we're trying to do is do something a little bit different than everybody else. Even if, like if you remember Seinfeld, they said that the Seinfeld show was always a show about nothing. And really, when you think about it, we're talking about all topics. We're not experts by any means, but it's just like we're sitting and having conversations. And I think that's pretty cool to do it that way.
That's right.
So,
all right, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, everybody, I'm so glad that you joined us for this show tonight. And we will see you again. Now, I believe, and Dave, you'll have to help me on this, I believe on the 10th of November, you guys go to daylight savings time, so it'll actually be 6 p.m. our time, but actually 5 p.m. your time, or it'll be 6 p.m. your time, 7 p.m. my time, right?
Yeah. We can talk about that again because our show is evolving, right? We started with 5 o'clock and thought that works well, but because I think I had a meeting one day, we had to switch it to 6, and we kept it there. 5 o'clock is an awesome time, but then it depends on my work schedule.
Right.
So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So anyhow, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Happy Halloween. I hope everybody was safe, and we will see you again next week. Say goodnight, Dave.
Night, Dave.
See ya.